Spokane is the next stop for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. That means one will rise. So leave the riverfront behind, because to race in Spokane, you must go west. Spokane County Raceway welcoming back the K&N Pro Series after a 4-year absence, and they put out the red carpet. The weather is kind of questionable. We'll talk more about that as you see the fans bundled up. It is still early spring out here in the Northwest. And drivers like Michael Self, who have been here before, brought the hoodie along. He's got experience here, as do Derek Kraus and his teammate Todd Gilliland, who's won everything in sight lately in the K&N Pro Series. Welcome, everyone, to the Toyota Napa Auto Parts 150. A welcome back for the K&N Pro Series to the Spokane County Raceway. 150 laps tonight. I'm Dave Burns, along with Brandon McReynolds and Derek Perniciglio. And it's cold out there, Brandon. What's it going to be like?
Yeah, I think that bottom groove is really going to be the way to go all night long for these race car drivers. It's been a tough day, a lot of rain, a lot of sitting around. So I think there's a ton of anticipation coming into tonight's race.
Storm rolled through here about 6 o'clock, caused a big delay. They had safety vehicles on the track drying it. They even ran the K&N cars for 102 laps and then topped them off with fuel to get ready to race on that half-mile oval you see there on the right. In the middle of a championship run that Todd Gilliland's trying to run away with, Brandon.
Yeah, he's been doing an amazing job, him and that 16 crew. But he's got Chris Eggleston right on his heels, so we'll see if Chris can make up a little bit of that points gain tonight.
Will Rogers and Nicole Behar in close pursuit as well. Here's Derek with more on our day.
Dave, welcome to the Spokane County Raceway, and it's the first time the series is back here since 2013. And back then, there was only one driver in the field that's competing here tonight. That was Michael Self in the number 9 car. But a huge wild card has been thrown into the mix here tonight. It's unexpectedly cold. It also rained here a little while ago. It washed all of the rubber off the track, plus the track is damp, which means cars could be slipping and sliding around in the first half of this race. The drivers and crews talked. They said they're going to feel the track out in the first half, make adjustments at the halfway break, and then try to go for the win in the second half.
It has been a long day, Brandon. What's it like for a driver waiting for this thing to start?
Well, it can be aggravating. You know, I think the nerves are always highest right before the race, before you get in that race car. So everyone's been working hard all day long. So those guys are just ready to get out there and get digging.
First time they raced here, bright sunshine at Spokane County Raceway. And Dylan Kwasniewski was on the pole in that 03 car. Nice jump to start. He led the most laps on the night, 105 of them, and finished second. But that 20 car on the inside, Brandon, Eric Holmes came to the front.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme seeing that Napa logo we've seen up front all year long. Eric Holmes is an amazing driver. He will actually be spotting for Derek Kraus in tonight's race, so it might give those guys a slight advantage.
He took the lead for good with about 50 to go. Came to the checkers. It was one of his 2 wins late in the season that year. Eric Holmes in the car that night, on top of the spotter stand tonight.
Yeah, Eric Holmes went on to win the race, like you said, Dave, but Greg Pursley, he came home third that night, went on to win the championship in 2011.
Those Napa colors were good at Spokane that year, that day. They're good again tonight, Derek.
Thanks, Dave. Once again, Todd Gilliland is on the pole. He scored the pole for every single NASCAR K&N Pro Series West event so far this season, and we're at a new track this weekend. It's unexpectedly cold, and how are you going to tackle the race tonight?
Man, it was hard in practice because the track rubbered up a lot and slowed down a lot, so we weren't sure on our times. And man, everyone at Bill McNally Racing worked super hard on this Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry today, and it gave me a shot at the pole. And then luckily we were able to capitalize. And now we just got to do our job in the race and stay out front, hopefully get the win.
The rain came in earlier, washed all the rubber off the track on a track that is, from what I've been hearing, pretty hard on tires. How are you going to manage that tire management throughout the race today? Because we do have that 75-lap break.
Yeah, exactly. So that first half gives you a little bit of a chance to work on it and see how bad it falls off to halfway, and then from there the second half is game on. So from there you can't mess up. So we're just gonna have to work on it the first half and maybe make some small minor adjustments for it at halfway to be better for the second half.
Todd Gilliland will bring the field to the green tonight in the Napa Auto Parts 150.
Yeah, Todd mentioned it there. It seems to be a theme. That halfway adjustment's so vital. It's going to be really tricky tonight with this wore-out surface to be able to get that right handling for the rest of the race in that last 75 laps.
If your car is working well, you don't want to mess it up. If you need help, you better make the right moves at halfway. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell.
And that's how restrictor plates reduce air intake. Moving on, drag is one of your biggest competitors. It slows you down, so make sure your car is streamlined. And don't forget to get an edge with drafting. Take advantage of the high pressure air between your car and the one in front. Then you can slingshot.
You guys taking notes?
At the track, in the classroom, and online. Visit AccelerationNation.com or download the Acceleration Nation app today.
E3 Diamond Fire technology maximizes the fuel burn for more power and better fuel efficiency.
I'm Ron Capps. I run E3 spark plugs in my Nitro Funny car. What are you running?
With over 700 convenient Men's Warehouse locations, great new looks are always nearby. And now, they're buy one, get one free. Plus, all dress shirts are 3 for $99 this weekend at Men's Warehouse.
Surfing is a sport that takes a lot out of you physically. From the moment I wake up on my Tempur-Pedic mattress, I feel like I am ready to take on the day. I don't have aches and pains from the previous day's training, and I feel like myself. I wake up feeling stronger, a better surfer, a better me.
Now through June 11th, save $600 when you buy select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Find your exclusive retailer at TempurPedic.com.
If you get up early to get more done, if you believe hard work makes you stronger, don't settle for anything less than the hardest working, smoothest riding side-by-side ever built. Polaris Rangers help you haul more, pull more, dump more, and make more of your free time when the work is done. Polaris Ranger, like you, we're driven to do more. And now's the time to get up to $1,200 cash back during the Polaris Spring Sales event.
If no one else will defend the world, then I must.
To the war.
This is a terrible idea. We'll see about that.
Wonder Woman, rated PG-13.
This is the engine for the Camaro. It's all repaired, ready to go back in.
It's got a lot of dirt on it.
I'm pretty sure I got a tub tow that will handle it.
Wow, look at the size of this thing.
I know, and they clean everything.
Man, that's taking everything off.
If you could just stop talking and just get cleaning, we'd be good.
Whatever.
I am a wild child. I don't need a touchscreen. I need to feel something real.
Nature is my playground. And this is my participation trophy.
I need to experience things, make memories, but I can't make it there on my own.
I need you to take me fishing.
It is late in Spokane, Washington, especially if you're on East Coast time. Welcome back for the Toyota Napa Auto Parts 150. We'll be going green just about 10:30 local here, Brandon, and here's what the track lays out like.
Yeah, it's a really fast half mile, banking 12 to 14 degrees. I think we're going to see that line right on the bottom, especially with all that rain earlier on.
Derek, who should we keep our eye on?
Well, Dave, our Who to Watch driver tonight will be that yellow and black number 33 machine of Nicole Bihar. This is pretty much her backyard. She hails from Spokane, and she's raced here before in 4-cylinder cars and super late models. She also has her entire family here tonight cheering her on. I asked her earlier in the day, what would it mean to win at the track like this? And she said, to win in front of all of these people in my hometown with my family here would mean the world to me. She hopes to do it tonight here in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West for their first time back here at Spokane since 2013.
Yeah, I know Nicole's really excited to get this race going. I remember racing at State Line Speedway a few years ago right down the road from Spokane. When they did driver introductions, it sounded like they were announcing Dale Earnhardt Jr. It was pretty exciting.
She can be called that for this racetrack. I'll take that. She's outside row 4 to start. But again, the BMR teammates, 1, 2, 3 in qualifying here tonight. Julia Landauer in the 6 car outside of row 2.
Yeah, Will Rogers back in the 6th row on the inside. He'll have good positioning to get into turn 1, so I'll expect him to charge towards the front here tonight.
Row 11 to the back, Stafford Smith and Jesse Iwuji. Both of those cars failed post-qualifying inspection. They will see everyone as they come to the green flag. It'll be Todd Gilliland on the inside. To his outside, the 19 of Derek Kraus. And we're green finally at Spokane.
Really good jump by Todd Gillen here on this initial start. Trying to get that good track position and a little bit of lead so he can settle in and probably start trying to save those tires here on this wore-out surface.
Behind him, the teammates get side by side. Eggleston took advantage of that opening down low, and Kraus, the rookie, moves a little bit to the high side. And now, cleanly through will be the 99 of Eggleston.
Yeah, really smart move. I'm sure Eric Holmes, Derek Krause's spotter, the 19, was telling him, hey, get in behind your teammate right there. Let's ride. Let's get in front of those Sunrise Fords and see what we got for later on in the race.
Little jam up here in the back. Ron Norman in the 40 car down low. Does not look like that car is under full power. Norman actually had a good qualifying effort, 5th. He's tied his best qualifying for the season, but now trouble for the 40 car.
Yeah, him and his teammate, Matt Levine, they've showed a lot of speed this year. They've gotten some new equipment from H. Scott over the winter, and they've been working really close with Jefferson Pitch Racing, trying to get their cars better week in and week out, and been doing a good job. So hate to see them struggling a little bit right here at the start of the race.
Gilliland stretches it out just a little bit. Here comes Eggleston, the former series champion, trying to run down his teammate this year. This is a tough year to try to catch Todd Gilliland, isn't it?
It is. Those guys have been on fire every single week. They've been racing on the East Coast as well, have had a lot of speed on the East Coast, but I'm sure that's got to be tough on their team going back and forth. So that's what I'm really impressed with, is that they're able to keep up with their cars on the West Coast at Bill McAnally Racing and keep that speed in that 16 car.
It was funny, I was talking to series director Chris Wright about going back and forth because he is overseeing every K&N race this year, East, West. And he said, the thing I'm impressed with is how Todd has handled it all, because I know it's a tough schedule.
Yeah, I've been there back in 2015 and even before that, 2014, racing the 16 car for Bill McAnally. There was a lot of travel, a lot of late nights, a lot of those overnight flights that really wear on you. So for a young guy to be able to handle all that mentally and physically, it says a lot about him as a racer.
Look at this team, 1, 2, 3. Now a little bit of pressure on the leader as they come up on lap traffic. And that may be one of the best opportunities they'll have, Brandon, to get some sort of advantage over Gilliland.
Yeah, we see Gilliland going around the 40 of Ron Norman there, just trying to negotiate that lap traffic. And I think you're right, Dave. I mean, we obviously know that Todd Gilliland's going to be the guy to beat. It's been that way every single week, but we can't count out his teammates, Chris Eggleston or Derek Krause, to jump on him whenever Todd has to move to that outside line and give up that bottom lane that is much more preferred here tonight.
But you do have to be a little careful down there, don't you?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough balance. I mean, the bottom line is definitely the preferred groove, but with all those puddles down there, you got to take care of those left side tires and not get yourself in a mess here at the beginning of the race.
Derek's been monitoring what's up with the 40 car.
Problems down here with the number 40 of Ron Norman. It looks like it might be a battery issue. They took the left rear tire off the car. You can see the crewman working inside the wheel well right now, trying to open that battery door to get the battery out there, and it looks like it is an electrical problem for the 40 machine of Ron Norman.
Derek, I talked with Matt Levine actually about adopting those H. Scott cars in the offseason, and they are getting to know them. The first few races, he said, we really had to just get to know the equipment, and now they've got a gremlin.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Every car has its little quirks. We've seen over time all these teams are starting to try to lighten these cars up quite a bit, so I'm assuming that they might only be running one battery in that car to try to save a little bit of weight on that vehicle.
Landauer trying to save 4th from her teammate and Nicole B. Oh, trouble! Turn 4. Big crash now. 3 or 4 cars involved just coming off of the corner right in front of the leaders. I see 21 of Blaine Perkins is involved. And I think 84, there's Rich DeLong as well. Sal Iovino in the white car with the silver numbers. And Jesse Awuji, his teammate in the 36. Jesse gets it fired up, but that's a lot of damage at the front end of Rich's car.
Yeah, it looks like the 21 might have had a little bit of a problem or mixed up with the 84 of Rich DeLong. And a couple of those guys a little bit further in the back might have started piling in there right at the end of that wreck.
Blaine Perkins driving for Steve Portengay. Usually a very fast race car. Qualified 15th today, had a little bit of trouble, started back in the back.
Yeah, Steve Portengay always brings a really strong race car to the racetrack, and I hate to see those guys having a little bit of bad luck, but I'm sure, Steve's got the notebook for so much experience here in the West Series to get him back on track.
So you can get a look up high on the screen. And there's just a loop. Man, he just lost it on his own, it looks like.
We talked about those puddles down on the bottom. Might have run into something there off the exit of 4, and then you see Rich DeLong get a little sideways and pile in there with the 21 of Blaine Perkins.
And then Sal and Jesse trying to get it wound up. A little bit of contact from the Patriot Motorsports cars there at the end. And now you see Steve Oliver displaying the red flag. Enough cleanup there that they're just going to go ahead and stop the cars and, I don't know, let's maybe dry the track a little bit more too.
Yeah, it's not a bad move on NASCAR's part to be able to throw out the red flag, make sure that everyone's safe in this situation, get everything picked up. And it's all about the fans, too, making sure that they get to watch as much racing as possible.
Indeed. Todd Gilliland still out front at Spokane under the first caution of the night.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? Because in real life, you don't get a second chance.
For 4 days only at Joseph A. Bank, buy one, get one free and go for the perfect business casual looks. Plus $169 for 1905 sport coats and blazers, and $59 for all traveler and reserve khakis. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
This is how it feels when you eat a Subway $6 footlong sub of the day. It's the taste you love at a price you can't get enough of. The $6 footlong sub of the day. 7 days, 7 footlongs, 7 more ways to enjoy Subway.
Welcome to Monaco, where high society meets top velocity. That's life at the speed of Formula One. The Monaco Grand Prix, Sunday, May 28th on NBC.
What is a Viking? The skill of a craftsman, the independence of an explorer, the courage of a warrior. We started in 1980 with a hands-on approach, building communities brick by brick, one home at a time. Today, we've built over 4,000 homes in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and the Tri-Cities, forging a future for generations. Viking homes, built by Viking, personalized by you.
Wendell's Now You See 'Em, Then You Won't sale continues. It's a new crop of pre-owned vehicles since the beginning of last month. Like the 92 used vehicles they have under $35,000 now, most gone by the end of the month. 71 used vehicles under $25,000, or the 53 used vehicles under $15,000. Most gone and replaced by a whole new selection of quality used vehicles. It's Wendell's Now You See 'Em, Then You Won't sale in its final days at Wendell Ford, Nissan, Infiniti, and used. At the Y or online at Wendell.com.
Back at Spokane County Raceway, they have finished cleanup out of turn number 4, and Todd Gilliland and teammate Chris Eggleston prepare to lead the field to green. You see the orange cone on the wall on the left there. It's a good and a pretty even restart and a nice little jump there by Gilliland.
It seems like that bottom line on these restarts, it seems to be a lot better. Todd Gilliland in the 16 is getting a really good launch. See if Chris Eggleston can get down here in front of his teammate.
Eggleston drove him hard at Tucson at the beginning of the year, came away with the win. And ever since then, it's been all Todd Gilliland. He continues to lead now at Spokane.
It has. I know Chris Eggleston, this track really fits his driving style. Reminds me a lot of Colorado National or Evergreen Speedway, not too far away from here at Spokane. Chris really gets around these tracks that have a lot of characteristics, a lot of bumps, a lot of swells throughout the corner, and we've seen a lot of that here tonight at this racetrack. So I look for him to really put the pressure on Todd Gilliland here tonight.
You know what Chris told me earlier today, that car is one that they kind of had a finicky time with before, and he said, we're giving it one more chance tonight, Brandon.
Yeah, I know he's been a little gun-shy about running that car. They built that car back in 2015 for Chris Eggleston. Guys always build a really nice car at Bill McAnally Racing, and he went to Iowa last year and was actually a little bit quicker than Todd Gilliland, who ended up winning that race. Blew a motor, got a little bit behind, and so that always makes you a little nervous running that same car again.
Garrett Archer battling with Nicole Behar. Archer in the 27 on the outside, Behar in the 33 on the inside. Nice side-by-side battle. You know, we haven't really talked about whether this is a two-groove racetrack, Brandon, but it sure looks like it here.
Yeah, it does, and Garrett Archer has experience. We talked about it earlier on, so he knows how hard he can run that outside groove. We see Nicole Behar prevail on that bottom, but Garrett Archer, he's trying to do the crossover on it right now. But these two drivers, they have a lot of experience here, so they know which line to run in and which lane is going to be the fastest.
Nicole has not run a K&N West race here. This is her home track, but usually ran her super late model, started her racing career here when she was 8 years old. And as Derek reported earlier, desperately wants to get a win in front of the hometown crowd tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure. She's been knocking on the door of victory lane all year long. She's been right inside that top 5, battling up front with the BMR stable. So I'm not surprised to see her running well here. Like you said, she's got a lot of laps around here. So it's just that little bit of adjustment going to a little bit heavier car with the K&N car racing here tonight. But she's off to a good start.
A couple of drivers we don't normally see on the circuit. The 61 is Braden Havens, driving for Rich Thompson Motorsports. In the 55, Owen Riddle, driving for the 3rd JPR car here tonight.
Yeah, Owen Riddle's a good friend of mine. Him and his brother Taylor Riddle are actually from Natchez, Washington, where Jefferson Pitch Racing's based out of. Owen does a great job in super late models. He's won a couple races here at this racetrack, and so is his crew chief, Jason Jefferson, who's on the pit box tonight.
Owen, the 31-year-old from, as you mentioned, Natchez. So, number of Washington drivers here in the field tonight. Nice to come to their home state and put on a show for the fans.
Absolutely. I definitely think it brings out that local crowd, and it gives somebody a chance to root for some of these guys, you know, and root for Nicole Behar, some of the hometown heroes. So I'm sure they're really excited to see if one of their hometown drivers can bring home the checkered flag.
Not from Washington is the driver of the 10 car. That's Matt Levine from Tucson, Arizona. We talked about him already. His teammate Ron Norman having troubles tonight, but Levine has been very quick in practice and a good qualifying run for him tonight. Now getting pressure from Behar.
Yeah, Behar is trying to get a little bit aggressive behind Matt Levine to get that 5th place spot, which is opening up that bottom for Garrett Archer in the 27.
So they run 3 together. Braden Havens dropped back just a little bit in the 61 car. And now you see Archer going for the bottom line there, as Nicole opened up the door just a little bit, trying to peek to the outside of Levine.
Yeah, we've seen some of the faster cars really exit low, and Nicole gave up that bottom, which is going to cost her a spot.
And it looks like Archer may make the pass on Levine as well. Here's Derek with more on Garrett.
And Garrett Archer runs in the top 5 right now in that number 27 machine. As the car has gone on, it's gotten a little bit better for him. We've been listening to him on the radio, but he has run about 4 or 5 super late model races here in the past, and he understands how important it is to get up off the corner here and get forward bite down the front straightaway. He knows the little tricks of getting on the apron and off the apron as he goes through the corners, and he is really on a roll right now, and the car is getting faster as the race goes on.
I'm really impressed with Garrett Archer tonight in this race. Watching him run around here kind of reminds me of watching Kevin Harvick go around Atlanta, working that yellow line, eating up that bottom, getting those strong exits to carry that momentum.
Keep the fire pit going tonight. It is cold at Spokane, but the racing is hot. Gilliland out front.
Dear Predictable, there's no other way to say this. It's over. I found a permanent escape from monotony. Together we are perfectly balanced. Our senses awake. Our hearts racing as one. I know this is sudden, but they say if you love something, set it free. See you around, Julia.
Dreaming has won the Kentucky Derby!
Can always dreaming take the next step towards the Triple Crown? The Preakness Stakes, Saturday on NBCSN and NBC.
64 laps in the books at Spokane, and if you're just joining us, it has been a day of delay. A rain shower came through about 6 p.m., and then another rain shower followed. They had to get safety equipment and cars from the infield to come out and help dry the track. The temperatures have been low. These cars actually ran 102 laps under caution to help dry the track and get this event in. A great job by NASCAR and by the locals to make sure that the fans could see a race tonight. What they've seen so far, Todd Gilliland in the 16 leading his teammates in this field now through lap traffic.
Yeah, Todd Gilliland has been dominating this race all night long, but we're seeing Derek Kraus in that 19. He's starting to put the pressure on him before we get to the halfway break.
Derek, the high school freshman from Wisconsin, and a chance to chat with him a little bit about his racing and working the traffic here. He's got a lot of experience with that because the short tracks he runs in Wisconsin in his late model, you're in traffic most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always catching those lap cars, and he's been doing a great job keeping paces with the 16, his teammate Todd Gilliland.
Derek, what more can you tell us on the night of the 19 driver?
Down to the number 19 pit of Derek Kraus. Talked to the crew chief a moment ago, asked him if Derek has said anything to you guys over the radio. He said, no, we're fast right now. The driver hasn't said much.
Well, that's good. He told me he was struggling a little bit in practice with the exit of the corner, Brandon. He said he was arcing it too much and getting advice. And trouble. Sal Iovino is around in the 38 car and involved for the second time tonight in one of the cautions. Out of turn 2. Let's see if we can get a look for you at Sal's car. Fired up and moving away already. So, second caution of the night, but that point about exiting the corners, a straight run off, what advantage can that be for a driver?
Well, it's huge. I mean, every time a young driver goes to a racetrack or an experienced driver, you want to make that straightaway as long as possible and carry your momentum off the corner. But we talked about Derek earlier, and to have that experience of Eric Holmes up in the spotter stand telling him how to get around this place as a past winner, I mean, that's experience that you can't pass up, and it's really good information coming from Eric Holmes and his crew chief, Ty Joyner.
You see the damage on Sal's car. Second incident of the night, as we mentioned, and this one a little bit more serious. Hopefully won't have a tire rub on that right front.
Yeah, absolutely. That nose looks a little bit caved in, so hopefully when he goes down in the corner on this next restart, it won't be dragging that right front tire, and keep him out there and keep him off the pit road.
See the blue car of Andrew Engerson out in front of the field there, the 14 car. He'll get the free pass on this caution. Right behind him, leader Todd Gilliland, who has paced the field since the green flag. Once again, not surprisingly, chooses the inside.
Yeah, smart move. I mean, it's been paying off all night long, so he's not going to change anything, especially with only a few laps before they go under yellow to come down pit road and take those 4 tires. But I expect Derek Kraus to really put the pressure on Todd Gilliland right here, try to get that lead so he can go to the finish in the second half of the race.
Keeping up with the Sunrise Ford cars, Michael Self is now 4th. Julia Landauer is working her way back from the back of the pack. Under the first caution, she found that her window net had become unlatched, and we're told that she got down pit lane, got that latch back up, and is now making her way back forward. That's an awful feeling for a driver, isn't it, Brandon?
It is. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. A lot of teams have gone to where you can tape that window net up so that latch doesn't come undone. Tough break for Julia Landauer. I know she had a lot of speed in practice, and but she's going to charge her way back up through there.
Well, now a little bit different handling. She was up near the front before, and now she's back in the hornet's nest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this place, it's a lot like Evergreen Speedway, where the lane tends to be right on the bottom, or like a Martinsville that we see on Sundays with the Cup guys. So it's you don't fight that much air, bad handling from being behind somebody off the exits of these corners or in the center of the corner, but you definitely fight that track position like you were talking about. Just because the lane is all on the bottom, there's really nowhere to go.
There's her teammate Michael Self in the 9. They both tested here back on May 2nd. Michael went right to Nevada to film a commercial for one of his sponsors after that. He took finals in North Carolina following that, coached road racers in Georgia, and then all the way back to Washington to race here tonight. It's been a busy week or two leading up to this for the driver of the 9 car. Remember Self's story? He started in the second race of the season, that 9 car, and has been very quick. Derek?
Guys, Michael Self runs 4th right now in that number 9 machine, and he's the only driver in the field that has competed in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West in the previous events they've had here. In 2013 and 2011, he finished 6th. He qualified 6th this afternoon. He said that this racetrack is super hard on tires. They're going to have to be conservative all night long. He feels that after 10 to 15 laps, you can start to feel the tires fall off, but he knows how to manage it. He's had laps around this racetrack before, and he feels pretty comfortable right now.
Yeah, we've seen Michael Self really push the limits with that 9 car, with Jeff Schrader being the crew chief in races in the past. Especially Kern County Speedway comes to mind, him really charging at the beginning of that race. So I think he's trying to find that good balance of how hard to push his car, especially coming into this race, and not wear out those tires too much.
Coming to the halfway break now, you saw the laps ticking away, and NASCAR has chosen this moment to pause, and these teams will get 5 minutes and a chance to get new rubber and take on the second half of the race, Brandon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the beginning of this race was almost like a test session to see how hard you could push your car, so we might see a little bit of a different race in the second half and possibly a lead change.
Everyone coming to pit road, everyone will want those Goodyear tires.
If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, isn't it time to let the real you shine through? Introducing Otezla, a Premolast. Otezla is not an injection or a cream. It's a pill that treats plaque psoriasis differently. Some people who took Otezla saw 75% clearer skin after 4 months. And Otezla's prescribing information has no requirement for routine lab monitoring. Don't take Otezla if you are allergic to any of its ingredients. Otezla may increase the risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Side effects may include diarrhea, nausea, upper respiratory tract infection, and headache. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Ask your dermatologist about Otezla today. Otezla. Show more of you.
Liberty Mutual stood with us when a fire destroyed everything in our living room. We replaced it all without touching our savings.
Yeah, our insurance won't do that.
No. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Search for a really strong glue that's clear.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Clear glue. Clear Gorilla Glue.
Of course. Gorilla Glue strength in a crystal clear formula. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
We'll never find a safe used car.
Start at thenewcarfax.com.
Show me minivans with no reported accidents.
Boom.
Love it. Show me the Carfax.
Start your used car search at the allnewcarfax.com.
Just press clean and let Roomba from iRobot help with your everyday messes. Roomba navigates your entire home, cleaning up pet hair and debris for up to 2 hours, which means your floors are always clean. You and Roomba from iRobot, better together.
Every truck guy has their own way of conveying powerful.
Yeah, boy. Kind of looks like a monster coming to eat you.
Holy smokes. That is awesome. Strong.
You got the basic and you got the beefy.
I just think it looks mean.
Incredible. No way. I'm getting goosebumps.
It's the Chevy Memorial Day sales event. Find your tag and get over $9,300 total value on select Silverado crew cabs when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Glad you could join us for the return to Spokane County Raceway for the K&N Pro Series. They've only had 2 previous runs here. In fact, used to run on the streets of Spokane back in the 80s, but now it's on the Super Oval, and it's been a super night for Todd Gilliland, leading all the laps so far. This was the biggest crash of the night. The 21 of Blaine Perkins got out of shape out of the corner, and 3 other cars were collected, including Sal Iavino, who brought out the night's second caution. Under the third for the halfway break, they've gotten tires and adjustments, Brandon.
They have. Whatever the crew chief decided to do under that halfway break is going to be really vital to see where you can wind up with your car at the end of this race. But I'll look for Michael Self. I mean, he tested the waters at the beginning of the race, saved his tires a little bit, so I'm interested to see how hungry he can get here at the end and possibly put the pressure on these BMR cars running in the 4th spot.
Gilliland in the 16 on the inside gets a nice jump once again over Derek Kraus, who slots in easily in front of his teammate, Chris Eggleston.
Yeah, Michael Self's doing a good job hanging tough on the outside of Chris Eggleston in that 99 car. He's holding him tight, trying to get that 3rd spot, which will help him if we do get another restarting on the bottom.
Behind them, Garrett Archer in the 27, Nicole Bihar on the outside of the 33. We've seen this movie before tonight. And it's good racing.
Yeah, those two, they've been stuck together all night long, racing side by side. They have probably the most amount of experience. Those 3 cars, the 9, the 33, the 27, there we see Owen Riddle coming into the picture, trying to get inside that top 5 here towards the end of the race. Everyone's fighting hard for that track position and trying to get back down to the bottom.
See, stuck up on the high side there, the 6 car of Julia Landauer making her way back toward the front, gets around Owen Riddle. Behind him, Braden Havens as well in that 61. Now they're a little more single file here, and Kraus tries to hunt down Gilliland.
Yeah, he's really been on the heels of Todd Gilliland. We've seen it in that last 20 to 30 laps of the first part of the race. And we keep talking about the bottom, but as a driver, the reason everyone's fighting for that bottom line is that's definitely the preferred groove. But with all that rain earlier, there's not enough rubber to make that groove push out, so you're not having to run through all the rubber on the bottom as the race goes on. I think that's why we're seeing these guys carry fast speeds, and the tire fall-off's probably not as much as we would have expected after practice.
As we edge closer to midnight here locally, we want to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. Derek Kraus's grandparents are actually in the stands tonight, which tells you a couple of things. One, they are very faithful to their grandson, and 2, they're hardy. They have seen some spring openers in Wisconsin that are probably just as cold as this, and hanging around to see what their young grandson can do here tonight.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, anytime you're coming from the East Coast or the Midwest, it's always a little bit tough coming out to the West Coast, not having your family there as much, so pretty neat to see his grandparents show up and support him here tonight.
Here's Landauer trying to catch Archer. Garrett, we mentioned, from the state of Washington, and talking to him earlier today, he was a different looking guy. I kind of asked him what was going on. He says, I've dropped 20 pounds. 20 pounds since they raced a month ago, Brandon. And he said the reason is he found out that the leader of this race had 40 pounds on him. Now, Garrett's kind of a big guy. Todd Gilliland, a slight driver, but a 40-pound difference, that's huge.
Yeah, I can relate to that. That's one of the meetings I had with Bill McAnally when I went out there to race for him. I've always been a little bit bigger guy like Garrett Archer, so it's definitely a disadvantage. And one thing I realized is these guys bust their tail to build these cars as light as possible. So if you're not doing your job as a driver and showing up and being fit and being as light as you can, then there's no sense in even showing up at the racetrack because you're just hurting yourself and hurting your team.
Guess what? The driver of the 19 in second place there, he wrestled in the 120-pound class this year. So he's got even more advantage.
Well, I know one thing. If I got into it with Derek Kraus, I'd be a little nervous too.
Well, yeah, even in that size, right? He's got the moves, and he's got the moves on the racetrack as well. Just a great kid with talent who is part of the, quotes, next generation here in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series. Gilliland, the leader, back in traffic. He gets around the 39 of Andrew Tuttle, coming up on the black and pink numbered car of Jesse Iwuji, kindly moving to the side, letting the leaders have their way by on the high side.
Yeah, Derek Kraus is doing a great job. I'm sure his spotter, Eric Holmes, is just telling him to keep pace with Todd Gillen. Todd Gillen has shown everybody all year long what a great job he does of saving his tires, but still keeping that race lead. So I think Derek's in a good spot, sizing up his teammate of Todd Gillen to see where he can make that move towards the end of the race.
And what is the protocol here for the young rookie against the reigning champion in the later laps here? He's close enough to touch him, it looks like.
He is. I think he just needs that window of opportunity. Both these cars are set up really well. Chris Lawson setting up the 16 of Todd Gillen. Ty Joyner working on that 19 car. He's just waiting on that window of opportunity. Maybe Todd might slip up or be burning up his tires just a little bit too much, but as you said, Todd's got a lot of experience. We haven't seen him make too many mistakes this year.
Just put Stafford Smith down in that silver 30 car. Stafford, by the way, a Boise State student who just finished finals and made the Dean's List again. Good job, Stafford. And now the leaders are coming up on the 7 of Will Rogers. Smoke out of that race car. And Will, for Jefferson Pitts Racing, usually very fast, now in trouble here at Spokane.
I am a wild child. I don't need a touchscreen. I need to feel something real.
Nature is my playground. And this is my participation trophy.
I need to experience things, make memories, but I can't make it there on my own.
I need you to take me fishing.
Pressure, I feel it every day.
Laps winding down at Spokane, and it remains under green for the Toyota Napa Auto Parts 150, which Todd Gilliland has been leading, I would say handily, because he's led all the laps, but the 19 car of Derek Kraus has never let him get away.
Yeah, we keep talking about it. I mean, he's right there on his heels, not giving him any room to breathe, which is good, but these guys got to be careful. We've been watching Chris Eggleston running in third place, kind of waiting back there, and sometimes that's what you'll do as a driver. When your car's not up to par and you're fighting a little bit of handling, you got to take care of your tires compared to some of your other competitors that are able to ride a little bit faster and still not wear on those tires.
See, Blaine Perkins there in the 21 was involved in the night's first caution. They've gotten it repaired, and Blaine back on track going a lap down here to the leaders.
Yeah, having a tough night. Him and Will Rogers, they always run really strong. They got a lot of speed in the race cars and some great crew chiefs, a great team behind them. So definitely going to look for them to get on track in weeks to come. But tonight's just not their night, and that's part of racing. And it's a good point too, because this series, and I've been there, I've raced with these guys. It's only 14 races long, and if you have one off night, I think everyone needs to understand, like, you're probably out of the points, unfortunately.
30 laps to go. This is the battle for fourth between Michael Self and Nicole Behar. We've told Nicole's story, grew up racing here. Her parents actually met on the go-kart track when they were 8 years old. They have stayed in this area ever since, raised this young lady to be a part of the NASCAR Next program and to be a very fast racer. And she tells me everyone on her crew, except for Kevin Richardson, is a volunteer. And it's like family going to the track every weekend, including when they're home here.
Yeah, I think one of the stories is, especially with Nicole, is sometimes I think people look at her, she's a girl in a race car, obviously, but I've raced against her, and she's a fierce competitor. She does an awesome job on and off the racetrack. And anytime I've seen that 33, that yellow car behind me, you always cinch up those belts a little bit because you know she's going to give you a run for your money.
A moment there for Nicole herself as she came off the turn there and getting around the 39 of Andrew Tuttle. She makes it cleanly and now goes back to work on Self.
Yeah, she's starting to put a lot of pressure on Michael Self in the 9 car. Both these drivers have been doing an awesome job tonight. We've talked about that lap traffic over and over again as we see the 9 having to move up around the 14 car. It's that can be frustrating as a driver as your tires are getting older, you're skating around, you just want to be on that bottom to keep that grip in your car. So it does create opportunity for other racers to come up there and race with you.
Oh, and Michael told me this track seemed very sensitive to changes and temperature. Now, when they tested here, it was 20, 30 degrees warmer, and now they come back tonight, Brandon, and it's close to 40 degrees out there.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough balance. I think tonight we've seen over and over again, it's just about that overall speed. We heard Todd Gilliland talking about in practice how the track had rubbered up a lot, and they couldn't really get a good handle on their car, but as the sun has set, this place has just seemed to gain overall grip, and we've seen a little bit quicker speeds, and seeing some of these cars probably spread out a little bit more than we're used to seeing, but that's just because those speeds are up, so everyone's just kind of racing themselves right now.
Michael continues to hold off Nicole now, gets a little bit of a gap on her as they head back down the back stretch.
Yeah, we've seen Nicole gain a little bit on the entry, but she always tends to lose that exit a little bit. So there's a lot of bumps and cracks in the center of these corners, especially down in turn one and two. So as a driver and a team, it's really hard to get your car to cut down to the bottom. As I said, you see that 33 dive in on the bottom, lose that center a little bit, and that definitely causes some issue for forward drive on your exits.
Back up front, weaving their way through traffic. Now the 19 has gotten a little bogged down. The 16 of Gilliland has pulled out one of the biggest leads he's had all night.
Yeah, it seems to be that lap traffic really coming into play as the 19 is trying to negotiate some of that lap traffic. It's nice to see some of these drivers giving the race leaders the bottom of the racetrack. And that's one thing as a young driver that you always appreciate and you learn as time goes on is when it's not your night, it's not your night. And it'll always come back full circle to where you'll be on the flip side of that, getting a little bit of help in kind of receiving the bottom of the racetrack as you're one of those leaders.
That was the 13 of Todd Souza giving him away there a little bit earlier. Todd running near the top 10 tonight, as he usually does. Back up to this battle here. Behar has fallen back into the hands a little bit of Garrett Archer. Looks like Archer may have saved a little something for the end here.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicole's been struggling to get around the 9 of Michael Self, so Garrett Archer's really taken advantage of that. He's got a strong car, able to exit low off those corners.
So Archer trying to pass the 2 cars ahead of him. Let's get to know the driver from Washington a little better.
My name's Garrett Archer, driver of the number 27 JPR Dirtfish Recruit for Business Ford. I got my start in go-karts when I was 4 years old, and then I jumped up to the mini sprint race. Some things I like about racing in the K&N Pro Series is just the competition. I mean, you're racing against some of the best guys on the West Coast. So that is one cool thing about our team is we're all from the state of Washington. The whole team, the shop, everybody, they're 3 hours from me. And on our off weekends, we're actually competing against each other racing super late models. So it's nice having that little bond of, Pacific Northwest pride. My goals for the season are to obviously get that first win, get that monkey off our back, and then, hopefully win Rookie of the Year and possibly compete for a championship. I'm Garrett Archer, and that's your NASCAR Next Gen profile.
Yeah, I met Garrett back in Seattle just about a year ago, his first race in the K&N Series, so I hope he can put that funding together to continue his great season.
We mentioned you see now he's gotten around Nicole Behar. Derek, what's going on with the 33?
Dave, listening to the number 33 of Nicole Behar on the radio, talking to the crew. She said the car is starting to fade a little bit. She's losing grip up off the corner. The car's starting to get a little bit loose.
And you mentioned earlier, Brandon, up off the corner, important to make that straightaway as long as possible.
Yeah, it's huge. It seems to be everything here at this racetrack in Spokane. Nicole's been losing that car in the center of the corner, chasing that front end from what it looks like. And as you do that, you have a bunch of wheel in the center of the corner. And as you step on that gas pedal, the rear tires want to start spinning. So you're just kind of chasing that car up off the corner, and it's hard to get that straightaway speed.
Look at Archer trying to get fourth from Michael Self with under 10 laps to go now here at Spokane. Archer's had a good season. Really, the only bad race was at Kern County where he finished 18th, but everything else has been top 5, top 10, and he's got a little something left for the end of this race.
Yeah, I know he's probably hoping for a caution right here with just a few laps to go, but he's got the perfect combination. He has experience at this racetrack. He's run well to start the year, and he's got a really great crew chief in Jerry Pitts that has also won a race here with Greg Pursley just a few years ago.
Up front, it's still Gilliland, pursued by Kraus. Can he mount a final challenge with just about 5 laps to go here? Again, this is the battle for fourth between Self and Archer. Bihar has dropped back to 6th.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to pass no matter what if you're inside that top 5, even with just a few laps left in the race. Garrett Archer's really putting the pressure on Michael Self, but you're watching him run that left front tire below that yellow line. That's where all that grip is at, and that's what's going to give you that forward drive off the corner because it's helping you roll the center and keep all that wheel out of your car.
Michael Self on board for the full season this year for Bob Bruncotti is going to get that challenge now by Archer down to the inside. 2 wide battle coming off of 4. And way down below the yellow line goes Archer.
Yeah, Michael's going to try to pin him down here as much as he can, try to keep that track position, but Archer's doing a good job rolling that bottom right on that yellow line, and those low exits is what's really going to help you. I'm sure his spotter's telling him just low exits, low exits, low exits. That's where you're going to get that forward drive to be able to pass the 9 car with Michael Self.
Jerry Pitts is his spotter as they continue side by side. A little bit of touching right there. And Archer's going to say, you know, I just need to be done with you and move on through. Archer through to 4th. And Self trying to save it off the corner.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Michael Self. He's probably doing the best job that we've seen all night, being able to run that outside. Looks like he lost a little bit of speed right there. He had to drop back in line, but I think that was a good move as Nicole Bihar moves back in on this battle.
Up front, Todd Gilliland trying to win again in the West Series. He just won the last race a month ago, the doubleheader at Irwindale, 200 lappers. Before that, he won the race at Kern County Raceway. He's going for 4 in a row here tonight at Spokane and doesn't appear to be leaving anything on the table. That's 16 now with a big lead as he sees the white flag.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be careful around here. The 21 of Blaine Perkins, he's got a little bit of damage, so I'm sure he's going to be on his toes as he negotiates this lap traffic coming back to the checkered flag.
Down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4, keeping those left side tires just right on the yellow line all night. Todd Gilliland is going to win in Spokane. Brandon mentioned his crew chief earlier. Derek has already caught up with Chris Lawson.
Chris Lawson is the crew chief for Todd Gilliland. That makes 4 wins in a row. Can you believe this kid?
Yeah, I can. I've, like I said, I've worked with him for 3 years now, and it never ceases to amaze me. He does so good inside that race car, knowing when to go, when to conserve, and it's pretty amazing.
We'll see you in victory lane again.
Thank you.
Todd Gilliland wins for the 4th time in a row tonight at Spokane.
Yeah, Chris is always really quick to give Todd a lot of credit, and he deserves it. Todd Gilliland is a heck of a race car driver, young and up and coming, but I got to give a lot of credit to that 16 team and the entire Bill McAnally Racing stable, because without those guys and their hard work and dedication to Todd, he wouldn't be able to go to victory lane. So hats off to those guys.
Teamwork, that's what it's all about in NASCAR. We'll hear from the driver in a moment.
What goes around comes around. And as a sport that races in laps, we know that a clean race pays off in the finish. It's why NASCAR commits to green programs in biofuel, like Sunoco Green E15, so we can offset our carbon emissions. We're not going to stop making a difference, and neither should you. Learn how you can help by visiting NASCAR.com/green today.
What did I tell you about using my tools? To make sure they're clean before I put them back. That's why I'm using Tubbo towels, man. You can get these at any auto parts store, and look how nice these look. Well, I got a whole toolbox full of tools, so get to work. No, I don't think so. I'm gonna clean mine. And your tools aren't dirty. Oh, because I don't work?
Being comfortable in your own skin isn't just about how you look. It's about knowing yourself and being true to character. That's ultimate comfort.
You guys want a picture?
By the way, great shoes. Thanks, man.
Skechers Relax Fit footwear.
Dry mouth can affect how your mouth feels and how you feel. Discover Act Dry Mouth, specially formulated to soothe and moisturize your mouth. And try new Act Dry Mouth Spray for relief when you need it.
E3 Diamond Fire technology maximizes the fuel burn for more power and better fuel efficiency.
I'm Ron Capps. I run E3 spark plugs in my nitro funny car. What are you running?
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? Because in real life, you don't get a second chance.
Welcome to Monaco, playground of the ultra-rich, where high society meets top velocity. $100 million machine only buys you a roll of the dice, and big crowds mean going shoulder to shoulder with the world's elite. That's life at the speed of Formula One. The Monaco Grand Prix, Sunday, May 28th on NBC.
K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Victory laps completed for Todd Gilliland here at the Napa Auto Parts 150, and fireworks are going off. It is now Mother's Day here in Washington State. A late night, but a deserving winner, Derek.
Todd Gilliland comes home with another win in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. 4 in a row for this young driver from Sherrills Ford, North Carolina. He's won every pole this year and won every race but one. How do you do it?
Man, it's all these guys right here. They bring such fast Napa Auto Parts to the Camrys to the racetrack every week, and all of Bill McNally Racing. I think another 1, 2, 3 finish, and man, that shows how strong everyone is out here, and just how hard these guys work, and it's good to see all their hard work pay off.
Take us back through the race, though. Were you getting nervous getting through the lap traffic? Derek was looking good, he was fast, but when you caught the lap traffic, he caught up to you.
Yeah, for sure. I would just start to inch away, and then he'd catch right back up when I get to a lap car, and that was really tough to deal with. I told my dad it's like road course racing. You just really got to focus out front, and luckily they were all calming me down, telling me just keep looking out the windshield, and luckily we had a good enough car to really pick our way through the lap cars and be patient enough to still get through them fast. So man, can't thank all these guys enough, for sure.
Dave, Brandon, your defending champion extends his point lead here tonight.
Yeah, Derek, Todd and those guys, they're off to a great start, winning races, but they're going to have to keep pushing as the year goes forward, because we watched that 19 car of Derek Kraus put that little bit of pressure on him as the race went on.
You see Kraus finishing there in second. Archer, we were watching his battle to fourth. Bihar ends up sixth, and Landauer fights her way back to seventh.
Yeah, Owen Riddle down there in the 8th spot. That's a strong top 10 run for his first K&N West Series race, so hopefully we can watch him do a couple more as the year goes on.
Top 10 for Cody Vanderwall tonight, the best of the Patriot Motorsports Group entries here. Here's Derek with second place, Derek Kraus.
Well, 15-year-old Derek Kraus in the number 19 car comes home with a runner-up finish here tonight, and you had a fast car. Was the lap traffic the only way you were going to catch him?
Well, our lap traffic didn't really play in our favor a lot, so they were kind of double file when we got to them. Todd got to navigate through traffic a little bit better than us, but otherwise our car was really good. All our guys at the shop worked their tails off to get these cars good week in and week out. Our car, all the tools, NGK spark plug, Toyota Camry is just phenomenal for the most of the race, and it's got a little tight at the end and free off.
That was going to be my next question. Was the car starting to fade at the end? Because the longer the laps went, it looked like Todd was opening it up, and the only time you were going to be able to catch him was when he hit that lap traffic.
Yeah, we needed heavy lap traffic just to get back up to him, because we got caught up in a little bit of lap traffic ourselves, and just lap traffic was key tonight. If you could navigate your way through lap traffic, you finish really good.
Derek Kraus showing a lot of promise in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West.
Derek, I'm impressed with his maturity and poise after a long race, running second to his teammate at Todd Gillen. They're building that notebook with that new Kyle Busch Motorsports chassis, so I I believe they're going to get better every single week and see that car in victory lane real soon.
Archer moves up, Rogers falls back, and you can see Eggleston now 20 points behind with that finish, Derek.
Well, in cold and damp conditions tonight, guys were fighting push, loose. What was your story tonight?
Yeah, I felt like that first segment we fired off just way too free. And I felt like we had something for the 16 on the short run, and then on the long run we just lost all our forward drive off of 2. And just tried playing with different bead blowers through that first segment to figure out what we need to do with that second segment. I got a terrible initial start on the second segment, and the 16 and the 19 kind of checked out there a little bit. So we kind of went into major tire conservation mode, just kind of half throttle all the way around, just trying to save tires, hoping for that caution there at the end. And we obviously didn't get that caution. So the strategy didn't really play out for us, but I didn't feel like there's much we could do. I didn't feel like we had the car to run them back down, so we just kind of had to do what we did. But I appreciate everybody over at Napa Filters and Toyota for putting this whole deal together, all the guys back at the shop at Bill McAnally Racing. Really excited to get back into our Chassis 63, which we won at Tucson, to go into Orange Show next weekend. Won there last year. Try to have a good run out there and then see what we can do.
It's a strong points day for the number 99 of Chris Eggleston, guys.
I know Chris isn't too excited with that finish, but anytime you're not pumped up about your race car or happy with the handle and you come home third, you're probably going to have a pretty good year. So that team's definitely clicking and getting better each week.
See, the next race for us will be from Orange Show Speedway, a chance for Todd Gilliland to tie the 1972 record of Herschel McGriff, 5 wins in a row in the West Series. The day started out cold and damp. It ended on fire for Todd Gilliland with another win in the West. It wasn't without incident. A big crash on lap 12 took out Blaine Perkins' 21 car. Rich DeLong's 84 was heavily damaged. But clean and green to the end was the 16 of Todd Gilliland from North Carolina. The 16-year-old wins again, stands atop, waves the flag, takes home the trophy. For Brandon and Derek, I'm Dave saying thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on NBCSN.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized